zamani kwa tunachapwa, unachapwa na baba yako naambia mjinga sana. Haushiki, we fala. Unapigwa mpaka unapigwa teke au
unasikia.
Si ndio? Haya, mwingine unamwambia andike 90, anaandika 90 na angalia this other side. Ama anaandika 6 na kama 9. Afu wewe unamwona mtu ni mjinga, hashiki, huyu hashiki. Hata ukimuongelesha una repeat mpaka 20 times. 300 times hashiki, unasema kichwa yake iko kama gum. Huyu ni mjinga. Huyu hawezi kusaidika. Mshaona hivyo? So that person is not that they are a fool, it's just that they have a learning disability. When they see things, they do not see like you and me. Ako sawa, lakini haezi soma. Lakini I mean haezi kusoma in future. Ana need mtu ako na care. Ume understand? Are we okay? Unajua naongea kama mwalimu. Please don't mind, I have to talk like that. Me, I don't know how to just blah, blah, blah. I have to ask questions. So now, we have gone through the different types of other categories. So now, there is a disability that nobody has ever thought about. Not every disability is visible. Si kila mtu unamuona hapa, hata kwa hii screen, kwa hii Zoom. Don't think we are all normal. Even me myself, I have my own mental challenges sahi labda.
Very true.
Unaweza kaa mko sawa, mtu ameka lipstick anakapoa, kosupu lakini akili yake sahi inachemka. Unaget? Unaona tu mtu ako sawa lakini all of a sudden anakugeukia unasema la, ni nini huyu? I know most men start thinking that is a woman.
Hapana.
Anasema ni mood swings. Labda ni mental bwana. Sawa. So not every disability is visible. Not every disability is in your face. A lot of times these disabilities are inside. What do I mean? My topic for today is making the invisible visible. Making you see what is inside that nobody else sees. The mental health and disability within the community. Some disabilities look like this in your community. Mtu haoni, mtu ana miguu, mtu ako kwa wheelchair, mtu ni mzee. Unaona? Mwingine asikii. We all see them. But some of them just look perfect. Perfect. Huyu nule unamdate, unamwona ako sawa, akili ako sawa, kila kitu ako sawa. Anakaa tu poa. Hauoni ndani yake. Ako poa, lakini, fire. You see all these people? They're all superstars. They all look normal. None of them looks abnormal. All of them. But each one of them here have fought a particular mental condition, one or the other. And all of them ended up committing suicide. All of them, Baka Robin Williams, the one who used to make us all laugh, suffered from depression. Some of them have multiple personalities, mood swings, beautiful, handsome, making money, rich. Because some of us think money will make us feel better. Money is everything. But you can see they died at the peak of their career. A wrestler who is very healthy, a musician, an actress, a football player, black or white, they all suffered because they had something that was invisible that nobody considered that it could be dangerous for them. So. There is a picture of my brain. Not all wounds are visible. There are different types of mental conditions. There is anxiety disorder, mood disorder, personality disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, na autism spectrum disorder. Maneno nyingi itawafunza mtajua. Can you all see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
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 This is the face behind the mask. What you see is someone who is very happy, happy person. But what is behind the mask? What is this person trying to tell you but you cannot see? Akija, ako happy. Ukimwona, very happy person. But once they remove the mask, there is a lot of problems happening. According to World Health Organization, which we all know now WHO, mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities and can cope with the normal state of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. You know, as a person, where jiangalie sahi, as a person, who are you? What makes you to be who you are? What makes Collins, Collins? Okay? A person is made up of three things: the mind, the will, and the emotions. The mind, the will, and the emotions. Mind yako ikikataa kuagree with the will and emotions, and if you do not bring it back into order, what will happen most likely is you will end up having a disorder here, chaos kwa kichwa, which can lead you to have disorder, which can lead you to have a mental condition. If the mind, the will, and the emotions are working together, and they are doing what they're supposed to do, and they respond well, and you are at peace with yourself, then you are able to control your mental health. But there are some people right now, ukikaa unafikiria siniende out. Lakini mimi anakuambia hapana, usiende out. Unajua pia utaweza kupatikana na polisi akupige teke. Mimi ni soldier bwana, naweza kwenda. Mimi si stuki. Wewe unajua vile kutapi. You know, you're always thinking, counter thinking, overthinking. Mpaka ni kama mathematician, unakata unafikiria mpaka by the time umeanza kufikiria, time is over. So you're not even working. You don't even know, do I eat today? I don't think I'll eat. I think I should be on a diet. That diet, which diet? Lakini kikula hii, watu wataniona. Nini. By the time you're done, you have wasted your whole day having a conversation with yourself. You understand? In conflict with yourself. In Kenya, here where we are, mental disorder account for 5.9%. 1 in 4 adults suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder. Sasa tuko wangapi kwa hii screen? Kwa wangapi hapa Zoom? 15. So count 1 in 4. Tuko na problem hapa, tuko na mental condition. Tuanze count 1 2 3 4, huyo ndo ako na hiyo mental. Another one 1 2 3 4, huyo ndo mwingine. So it's about how many people here have mental condition? 4 of us. Ama 5. Ichague.
4 to 5.
4 to 5. Higher. Then, to make it worse, the ones who have serious mental illness is 1 in 25. Those are the ones who unaweza kuona wamechizi kabisa, mpaka wanatembea kwa street, hawajijui. 1 in 5. 1 in 25. So what are the basic symptoms? To know that you must be having a mental condition. Lack of appetite. Social withdrawal. Pale hautaki kuwa na watu, hutaki kuona watu. Hasira tu, uncontrollable anger for anything. Umekanyaga viatu yangu, unaanza kupigana. I don't like the way unachuchwinga, unaanza kupigana. Hutaki kuamka, constantly fatigued. You just want to sleep. Then there's this one, you're a sexual addict. Ama hutaki sex. You're just addicted, ama that thing is not for you. Then haulali, kazi yako tu ni kufungua macho, kukaa tu, haulali kabisa. Then unalala too much. Too much. Wengine, they eat too much. They'll eat anything they can find their hands on. Then there is reckless behavior. Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Are we all together?
Yes,
Yes, we
we are.
are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. clients from
Yes.
any liability.
Pardon? Look at that picture. This picture. The man is thinking, should he call her? The girl is crying, waiting for the phone to ring. Such situations can lead to this. Lack of appetite, social withdrawal,
Backwards eyes.
temperamental,
Backwards eyes.
very okay. Uncontrollable anger. Unaona, unashindwa kulala because of this. It looks very simple. Some of them might not bounce back. They might be stuck at this for the rest of their life because of rejection, which can actually hit at a very raw nerve in them. So what is anxiety disorder? I had mentioned it before. It is important to distinguish between occasionally feelings of anxiety and a true anxiety disorder. Because most of us will start saying, we all get anxious. But there are some people, it is part of them. It is a normal reaction to stress, whereby they keep on worrying, they are fearful, and it can last for months at a time. There's something that is called obsessive compulsive behavior or disorder, OCD. Kuna watu hawawezi kukua karibu na germs. Do you know germs? They have to wash their hands all the time. They have to wash their hands every time wherever they pass. There are some people, they have to walk a certain way for the rest of their life. They cannot walk in another technique. Like they cannot walk at nitoke hapa, nitembe through this supermarket. No, they have to go through a specific system. Msijali naanza kusumbuliwa na huyu mwingine. My people. Hello.
Boya.
Iko tu sawa, iko tu sawa.
Mjue niko na mtu sasa.
Boya.
Yes.
Msalimie.
Nana naitwa Baka by my name.
Boya.
Yes.
Msalimie, msalimie.
Okay, go away. So then there is panic disorder, there's post-traumatic stress disorder, and both social and specific disorder. What is post-traumatic stress disorder? Hii, a lot of people faced it during, unaona kama hii saa ya corona, seo tukapatiwa curfew. Askari wakakuja wakachapa watu, wakafanyia watu practice ya kuchapa. Most of these people, now when they hear or they feel like they are told that the police is coming, wanastuka. Kazi yetu ni kustuka, roho inaanza kupiga, they are scared, they can't even function, they get stuck. Hata wakiona policeman wanastuka, waezi kulala, they just have that memory in their head. Because now it has given them an issue, it has created a disorder in them. This is a, how do I say it? A figure of how you can see what is a depression and what is anxiety. So that you can tell the difference, because a lot of times we say we have depression. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is when you feel like you are trembling, your heart rate starts increasing, so you start breathing hard. You feel like you do not have any power. You have high rate, as I said, you are sweating, you are agitated. You know, you start overthinking, you cannot even function, you cannot even come out of the house because of that. Another disorder that comes from mental is the mood disorder. Major mood disorders are depressions and bipolar disorder. Do you people know what is bipolar?
I've heard it.
Yeah.
You've heard of it?
Yes.
Yes.
So tell me what you think it is.
Who wants
What do you
to
think
go
is
first?
bipolar? What is bipolar? Mumesikia tu mnaita mtu wewe unakaa tu bipolar. What is bipolar? Wacheka tu kama bipolar. Wewe acha kuniletea my bipolar zenu. What is bipolar?
For me, I can say it's like a mood disorder where there's a drastic shift in moods. You know, when a normal person, usually when they're having a mood issue, it's just slow. It's just like I'm happy, and then probably from 8 to 12 ako sawa, from 12 to nini something may happen, ana shift tu vizuri. Lakini someone who has bipolar ni up and down, ako happy one moment, the next moment analia, the next moment they are incredibly angry, alafu anashirikia, or they do a very spontaneous things. They can spend money very fast, they can engage in risky behaviors, engaging in drugs and risky sex. For me, that is bipolar.
Perfect. Bipolar, meaning one side polar from north to sijui, is it north south? One from north to south, hapo katikati. They are never in between. Sai ako cool, ako huko anapiga makelele, anafurahi. The next thing unamkuta ako down. Unashindwa ni nini?
Right.
What happened?
Right.
Yeah? Sai mko mume agree.
Right.
Mume agree, this is it, we have agreed, this is it. Ukiana nakwambia mimi sijui unasema ni kwenda huko. Nini unashindwa? Okay. Are we on this together? Unaanza hata kuji-question. Maybe sikuwa sawa hapa. Maybe I'm by myself. Mna understand? So mtu ako north, na sasa mlikuwa mko east, yeye ashafika north, akili yake kuko north. Tena mnarudi mna agree, okay, wewe unaenda north, unaenda karibu na yeye, unasema okay fine, I see where you are coming from, so I think we could do ABCD. Yeye unamkuta tena amezoom ako south, akili yake iko huko, ako na hasira, anachukua watoto. And by the way, bipolar can be so bad if you're a mother. It can be so bad because you can throw your child out of a building because the way the child is crying, ama the way the child is looking at you, can actually trigger something so bad. Unamtu anamchukua anamtupa chini. You understand? When they don't even have emotions at that time. Have you got it? Haya.
Yes.
So because of time, najua mtukianza kwenda, mimi nikianza naweza kuendelea mpaka kesho. Haya. So it is like anxiety. It's someone who gets depressed. Sometimes depression comes, which can lead to bipolar disorder, but they are very different. So let's go to the next one. 1 minute. This is depression. Depression has many faces. You're laughing. I'm depressed. I am crying. I'm depressed. I just look normal. I'm depressed. There is a song, I remember, it's an old song. It's by a person called Smokey Robinson. You can go look for it. And Smokey Robinson the song is The Smile on My Face. Okay? It goes like, people say that I'm at the life of the party because I tell a joke or two. But take a good look at my face. Then blah, blah, blah. You will see the tracks of my tears. I am the party person. Everybody who sees me are like, yeah, Zipi ameingia bana. Hey, Zipi. But do you see what is beneath me? There are some of us who cannot even interact or be by ourselves, because when we are by ourselves, we will try to hang ourselves. We want people around us. Some people even start saying, I wish I'm like you. For example, when curfew began, the youth, majority of them are getting depressed because some of them have to stay at home. Sahi mukai nyumbani. Suicide can start. Domestic violence is on the rise. Abuses are there. Why do you think it's happening? Do you think it's the devil who was walking in their houses? Ati spirit imekuja tu. Because they are facing multiple depressive episodes. They cannot be alone. When they're alone, it's the time when they start thinking other things. My friends don't even know I am depressed. When I'm with them, at least I am not sleeping, I am not thinking, I am drinking, I am smoking. No, I am taking shisha. You know, I did shisha once. I think I blacked out for 3 days. The real one, not the fake one, eh? Not the fake one. I felt like I played with the clouds. Yeah. But it's, if you take it, anyway, let's leave that for another day. I never again took it. So now someone will take it so that they can run away from their demon. They're depressed, but no one can see. It's the invisible. Hi. Even now I can have bipolar because of the 3-year-old. Yes.
Okay, upstairs and downstairs.
Okay, go back upstairs. So as we were saying, it is a long-term debilitating illness that usually needs treatment to cure. And bipolar disorder characterized by dramatic shifts in energy and mood. The energy changes. It often affects the individual's ability to carry out day-to-day tasks. Nitapika sipiki. Enda katafute chakula yako. Kwani kazi yangu ni kufanyia hii. Then again, sweetie. Si ukuje ukule. Baka unaangalia chakula kama ni poison. You're even scared of it. From one place to another. Bipolar disorder used to be called manic depression because of the way people would swing between manic and depressive episodes. They act like they're crazy. They can even remove their clothes. And then all of a sudden, they're depressed. I can see from some of your chats, you're saying some of you have these things. Maybe you're one of the 4. You never know. Guess who is bipolar? Mariah Carey.
What?
Yes, normal as she looks. She looks normal. She sings well. She works very well. But guess what?
She's
bipolar. Niliwaambia mavijana, the ones who are looking for beautiful women. Some people have social problems.
Bipolar ichagui.
Haichagui. Sawa, iliweza kwa kina hawa socialites mnawachukua we. Bipolar. Maybe even that TikTok helps people because you know you can swing from one personality to another. Anyway, you can continue. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Besides mood swings and other like emotions and physical stuff, can mental health instability trigger physical manifestations of like, let's say, a rash? Unapata, like for instance, I have a friend of mine, amekuwa akienda hosi for a specific rash on his neck. But once he's tested, anaambiwa there's nothing wrong. It's not like bacterial infection or viral infection. Anaambiwa it's all mental. So I was wondering, can it manifest like into something physical, like a rash? Ama vile tunasikianga sijui ulcers. Is there like any basis behind it?
It could be, but is the rash? Can you see the? Ana imagine akona rash.
You can see.
There are different kinds. Akona rash.
Anafikiria akona rash, so he scratches it. He
thinks it is. That is mental. You see, like there is this one. Let me go back to something here. Please allow me. Let me show you something. Okay. Do you see this part, anxiety disorder?
Yeah.
There is a part that is written OCD, obsessive compulsion disorder.
It's all there.
You see that? There are some people who feel like wherever they are, even in the environment they are in, they have a disease, or they are getting a rash, or they start, unajua ile kujisikia tu kuna something is not normal within that environment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you get things are just not the way that, even if you go to the doctor, mtu anakuambia you are okay. No, doctor, pana daktari, ama naitwa dokotari. Listen, I know there is a rash here. You cannot see it. I know. Kana katu akijikuna kuna. So something in his mind that has become I cannot say it's a loose screw because that is very wrong of me to say, but there's how do I say it? I'm trying to find that good word for you guys to learn. It's a path. It's a psychological path. It's something within the brain. Give me time, it will come, because it always comes just like that, whereby it is not connecting to the correct part of the brain. Do you understand? Kuna kitu that is disassociated, it may disconnect. So in his head, he has to talk about the rush. There are different categories. There are some people who look for sicknesses for sympathy. That's one. So it becomes part of their life. That number two, people want to tell you that there's something wrong with them, yet you cannot see, but yet it is a mental issue. Do you get it?
Yeah.
As we go along, I'll remember the words for you. Just a minute. Okay, go away. Bye-bye. Okay. I'll tell you, as time goes along, you will get what I'm trying to say. It could be even under this personality disorder, because this is a different type of disorder. Remember, we've done anxiety disorder, mood disorder, and now we are doing a personality disorder. Let's see if he falls under this category, okay? There are 10 of them, but I decided to concentrate on 7. Is that okay, Kenya? Kenya?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sijali nikikuharibia jina shauri yako. Enda nayo bana. Sawa. So, personality disorder, it causes people to behave in ways that seem as abnormal to the society, as you're talking about, but seem normal to them. There's the paranoid. He could be paranoid personality. You understand? There are people who are paranoid. They see aliens. They start screaming. You get? There are people who are schizophrenic. I think some of you know what is a schizophrenic person. True or false? Ama mjui?
Tunajua.
Mnajua? Majority of people who are schizophrenic are the ones you see on the streets. Majority. I'm not saying that anyone who is schizo is one of those who are mentally, who are running without clothes. No, 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 no. But majority, because this is now the borderline, whereby they have lost themselves, they don't know who they are, they don't know how to return to who they are. They can, even if they go to hospital, they can never come back to themselves. While there are others who are schizophrenic, as long as they take medicine and they avoid taking alcohol or drugs, they can live a normal life. But once in a while, something triggers them to react. Then there's the antisocial personality disorder. There are some people who do not want people. They don't want to see people. They don't want to be around people. They would rather work from home. When they see people, they don't even want to, they get scared. They're just not comfortable around them. Then there's borderline personality disorder, whereby they're in between each or the other. Then number 5, I think, who made it common or famous? Tanasha Donna. Narcissistic personality disorder. I want to hear your view. Who do you think is a narcissist? Narcissistic.
What is narcissistic?
Yes, I want, because now this one was so common. What do you think?
I think narcissism is a feeling of being above everyone else. Ni kama mtu anajiona yeye ni, sijui ni explainaje, yani anajiona ako tu juu ya kila mtu, ako better than everyone else. Na sasa anateka advantage of
Anajiona on point, ako na ego problem.
Yeah, kitu kama ako egoistic sana.
Mimi naweza sema ni excessive showing interest in someone or admiring someone.
Excessive what?
Excessive interest in or admiration of someone, of oneself. Nirudia ama sawa?
No, mimi nimesikia iko sawa. Nilikuwa fikira mwingine anaongea. So a person who is narcissistic can either be egotistical about themselves. They just care about themselves. Everything is about them. Si ile yenu, unajua kuna ile iko kawaida kujipenda, kwa sababu mimi najipenda sana. Una understand? Lakini kuna ile ingine hata hawezi kusema sorry. You understand? Lakini kuna kitu kingine huyu bring out King K. Mtu hata pia anaweza kuwa anapenda mtu so much mpaka anakuwa obsessed about them. They become so obsessed about them that they try to control their life. They create a life that they want you to stick into. Pardon? Did someone speak? I'm hearing my own voices. Maybe I'm mental too, eh? Maybe I'm hearing my own voices. Anyway, what I was saying is there are some people who are in a relationship, a relationship. And majority of the times, the person you're with may be male or female. Let's say a male. Yeye anataka maisha hii amekuleta ndani yake ikae like this. You know what I mean? It has to be like a box. Do not go beyond this box. Do not think for yourself. Let me think for you. Do you understand? Do not think about other things. Just let me think for you. You want to go to work? No, I will bring the money. You want to eat this food? No, today we are going to eat rice in this house. They are all over the place. They don't want anybody to go beyond or for you to have your own mindset. Wanataka tu ikae hivi hivi. Ndio unaona sasa mtu anaweza kuwa abusive because sasa yeye anataka maisha yake ikuwe hivi. Na wewe ukimwambia umefanya kitu wrong, anakuambia hapana. Hapana. Kwanza it is your fault. It is you who has made me act the way I'm acting. Akikupiga kofi nakwambia sasa mbona umenifanya nikupige kofi? Mbona wewe ndio umenifanya nikupige kofi? Si unajua baby mimi nataka vitu hivi. Mbona unacheka cheka hivi bure bure? Mbona? Mbona unajua every time at 7 o'clock we have to watch news. Mbona umechange channel? Mbona tu it's your fault. Ningekuwa tu tuko sawa. Lakini wewe umenifanya nikuchape kofi bwana. It's your fault. So dem anaachwa ama mpaka wewe unaanza kujiona yenyewe, by the way, I think I'm crazy. Mimi ndio problem. So they know how to change things to come against you. So you find yourself in a situation whereby with a narcissistic person, you're always apologizing. I am always apologizing. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Hata kama mwanaume, I'm sorry. Baka unashinda kwa nini namwambia huyu sorry na niendo akona mistake. Lakini at that time amekuprogram in such a way, you don't see anything wrong with them, but you see that maybe something is wrong with me. Have you got it? Then I commit suicide because you've made me feel so bad. Ay, baby, don't commit suicide. Mimi nitajinyonga kwa sababu ni wewe. Unajua vile nakupenda lakini wewe unanifanya nitake kujiua. Hi. So you start thinking, my God, yet it's a decision for yourself. Are we okay?
Yes,
yes, we are.
Okay.
Sawa.
Mwanaingia ananiambia 50 first dates. That one is for forgetfulness. Lakini that one was a movie. Can someone be that forgetful? Anyway.
that is what I wanted to know.
Pardon?
Zipporah, before you continue, maybe we could introduce our guest. The other guest is here already.
Okay.
Yes, kindly, Julius, if you may introduce yourself.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Right. Yes. So my name is Julius Rodrigo Maura, and I work with my own company. It's called J. Rodrigo Entertainment. And yes, I have a disability as well. So yeah, wacha tungoje Zipporah malize, and then we will proceed as intended. So sorry I'm late. Ni Raymond tutakanyanga. So sorry. Yeah, please continue, Zipporah.
Karibu sana, Zipporah. So anyone else that wants to maybe talk, kindly text so that I can maybe stop Zipporah, and then you address us kindly. And mute your microphones when you're not speaking.
Okay. So, are we okay now? We can continue? Tuko sawa?
Yeah.
Yes, we can continue.
Okay. Now, let me go back to my notes. Now, where were we? Dependent personality disorder, whereby you depend on somebody. Then there's obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Now we have to go a little bit faster because of, I think, time, I don't know. But don't worry, we'll do the best we can. So this is a person. I love using art. By the way, I love art. because everybody can interpret art the way they want, and it's very good for your mind. So this is a person. What do you think is happening to them? Look at it. I'm wondering what type of emotion you're getting from it. It's like somebody who is fighting with themselves. You're fighting with different personalities. Okay, give me a minute, please. Where? Bablu. Okay. Motherhood, eh? So, as I was saying, this is a person who is fighting with the demons inside, the different personalities that are in. This person is trying to be normal, but mentally, it's like there's a war within themselves. Ako sawa, lakini hapa hako sawa. I hate me too. Mtu anajichukia, it creates a different personality. I am okay, yet they are broken. ADHD. What is ADHD? This is another mental problem that is an invisible issue. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, is one of the most common childhood disorder, and it can also occur in adulthood. And it is marked by difficulty in paying attention, difficulty controlling behavior, and hyperactivity. Now, for me, sometimes I would look at my son and think he's here, but I don't think so. So how do I tell a person has ADHD? That is when they say you take a person like this and take them to a party. They have something that is called a sensory overload. You know, the senses that we have, hearing, seeing, whatever. Is it tasting, whatever. But it becomes an overload within a crowd. And it's like this in their mind. Oh, there's somebody over there. Oh, another person. Oh my God. Oh, there's a mushroom. Oh, there's a drink. You know, their minds are all over the place. It's a complicated system. In the picture, you can see a normal person will start a story and end a story. A person who has ADHD, the story has a story within a story, over a story, under a story, all over there's a story. Everywhere. Nothing is the same. Story. So you can lose the train of thoughts. They're everywhere. This is how their mind works. You work from point A to B. But a person with ADHD, their mind is haphazard. Sawa. Have you guys understood that part?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Sawa. So let's go to the other one. ASD, autism spectrum disorder. So what is autism? Autism is a group of developmental brain disorder that are characterized by deficits in social interaction, verbal and non-verbal communication, and engagement in repetitive behaviors or interests. Deficits in social they cannot interact socially well with others. Some of them have a problem talking. 30% of them, or 40% of them, cannot even express themselves. So sometimes they end up becoming like deaf. I mean, dumb, as we call it, dumb, I'm sorry. And then they always engage in repetitive behavior. You'll find them stuck in things. Unakuta mtu kazi yake tu ni kupanga vitu in a certain way. You cannot remove them from putting things haphazardly. They like order in their life. Symptoms. So how do you know a person has autism? I'm sorry when you see me looking up. This one is trying to distract me. The 3-year-old, eh? This is how I tell you, disorder problem. So how do you know a person has autism? They're oversensitive to smells, pain, touch, that is sensory overload. They avoid eye contact. They cannot look at you in the eye. Non-verbal or verbal communication is poor. They like routine. The way you cook for them has to be the same way, the same menu. You cannot change it. They want to walk a specific path. It has to be the same way. If they're going to school, you have to take them to, if you started taking them to school, you have to take them to school for life. You cannot change. You cannot change their sitting positions because they get, their minds, it's like they will blow if you start adding other things. They keep on repeating things. For example, they are rocking. You find them rocking in one place. They will be walking up and down from one place to another. And also, the most interesting, they do not recognize emotions. They don't recognize your facial, like if you're angry, they cannot tell from your facial, how do you say it, makeup. If you start crying, they don't understand what are tears. They don't even know if they're angry or not. You can find someone smiling, yet they're telling you, I will kill you. Because they don't know. Bill Gates is a person who has autism. So when you see him talking about vaccinating us and it can kill 300,000, I don't know how many thousands can die, and he's smiling, don't think that he's just a bad person. It's just no emotions. Steve Jobs is autistic. Einstein was autistic. What does that tell you from those people I have shared? What does it tell you?
Anyone that wants to respond?
I can't hear you. Please speak louder. Pardon?
I'm asking if there's anyone who wants to respond to that. Kenya.
Yes. People with higher IQ might have higher chances of being autistic.
Yes. The mad scientist. Yes, the mad scientist. People who like mathematics, they like order. You know what I mean? They are like specific, not crazy. Like, okay, I'm not saying crazy, but they're not like the other one whereby you have to go all over the place. You know, before you bring a situation or a story, you're everywhere. But a person who is autistic, it's straight line. Do you understand? Straight line. Hataki mambo za big za kumrusha rusha, just straightforward. You kamwambia ati mastori, unajua, sasa, unajua kulikuwa tumeenda hivi, alafu tukarudi, tukapita hivi. Lakini sasa tukienda, tukakuwa na mlima, tukapita, lakini alafu kulikuwa na maji. Yana kuambia, what is problem? Did you reach the place or not? That's it.
Naweza kuwa hapo kweli. Nakaa kukua hapo.
Pardon? Will someone speak? That's me. My time is up. But let me finish. Yeah? Nasema?
Nilikuwa na shanga tu kama niko hapo juu mimi napenda vitu straight.
I didn't hear you so well, sorry. Please repeat.
Nasema nashanga kama pia mimi niko hapo juu vitu ni straight, nataka vitu zikuwe straight maybe.
Never know. You might be one of the four. But listen, for if you're questioning who you are, maybe some things are working, looks like you. But there's a level of severity. There are some who are at the extreme, who cannot even function. Do you understand? And there are some who have an element of it. So sometimes someone will be told you are very artistic. Cindy. Then there are others who say, I am very good with numbers. Then there are others, I don't like ABCD. So there are some extreme levels. So you don't give yourself a name because as we began in mental health, you can have, you are able to control your will, your emotion, and your mind. But a person who is autistic severe, because I said autistic spectrum on another level, they cannot control their mind, their will, and their what? Their emotions. So unaweza kuwa hapo lakini haujafika extreme, uko sawa. Sawa sawa.
Sasa
We
nimeelewa.
continue.
Nimeelewa.
Haya, sawa. Haya, tuendelee. Kasa sasa, second guest has to come, eh? Haya.
I have a question.
Okay. Yes.
Nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, I went for a certain function where I was supposed to do a facilitation. And then there was this young boy alikuwa tutoa maji za kunywa za participants kutoka kwa gari, tukaziload mahali tukaziweka hapo chini. So as we were calling upon these people to come and help us carry these packet of waters, hizo maji vile zinakonga zimepikiwa, this young boy came and told a certain guy, usibebe hiyo, wachana nayo. So guys were like, mbona amesema sibebe ile? Then this guy just literally took hiyo yenye ameambiwa sibebe na akainua juu. So vile aliinua juu, kumbe vile aliinua ilitoboka, hizo chupa za maji zikamwagika chini. So this young man became angered, akajam, akarusha mikono, akaongea vitu zake na kaenda. How do we call that? Did he see it before it happened, or does he have a feeling it happened? How do we call that? Is it something close to you or autism or something?
Hello, Zipporah. Hello.
Hello. Maybe before Zipporah comes, is it okay if I answer him? Is it okay if I answer him?
Yes. Yes, it's
Right.
okay. It's okay. You can go ahead.
Yes. So right. Siati ali predict, but the thing about being on the spectrum, that's being autistic, tunaitanga being on the spectrum. The reason why we call it being on the spectrum is because it's different for every individual. Even for those with autism, there are those who are, like Zipporah said, there are those who are on the max, and then there are those who are on the minimum, and then there are those who are katikati. Sometimes it's it could be that he saw something earlier in terms of maybe while they were offloading, he did see something, but then he didn't want to speak. So he got angry because he was not understanding why you did not obey the very thing he was trying to warn you about. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
You know,
so
we have a problem whereby when we are going to go through these disorders, most of us will start seeing ourselves in it. It does not mean we have a disorder. I remember a long while back, when I used to be living out of the country, there was an advertisement, and this comedian used to say, I don't remember who the comedian was, but it used to be like an advertisement for medicine. So they begin, do you have a headache? Or do you sometimes think like this? Or do you find yourself going to the toilet? Do you find yourself eating a lot? Do you find yourself sleeping? And do you find yourself, so by the end of that advertisement, you start saying, hey, I think even me, I'm sick. I am sick. I must be very, very sick. Because now they'll give you the symptoms and you start thinking, hey, maybe at a Mimi, it's asking me, do you go to sleep? And do you find yourself waking up at night? And then do you drink a lot of water as opposed to drinking less water? So some of times I would beg of you, when you see some of these problems, unless it has been diagnosed by a doctor, many times, they are just personalities that you have or characteristics. Unless this person cannot even work in the normal environment. Because if you cannot work with others, or if you cannot contribute towards the community or the society, that means you're mentally challenged. That means you have what? A disability. But if you can wake up in the morning and go to work or do your own thing, uko sawa. But there are some times, because this is Kenya, things like schizophrenia, things like bipolar, things like OCD, you understand? They do not get seen. they can be missed. Mwingine anasema huyu mwanamke kazi yake yako hawezi kumuunderstand, ako hivi ako kila pahali hata uwezani na yeye, because there are some people who look, they are so active, they're all over the place. It's ADHD. Like sometimes my son would walk on his tiptoes. Unajua kutembea na tiptoes. So I would look at him and then I would start worrying, because I know when children start walking on tiptoes, because when they step with both their feet, it hurts them. Their nerves, it hurts them. So I start wondering, does my son have it? Then I see again he's normal. I'm like, oh, okay. Then we go somewhere to, being 3. He will throw a tantrum like you have never seen in your life. I start saying, hey, you need hyperactivity. It could be one of those symptoms. But then you discover it's just that he's 3 years old. Do you understand? So let's not assume because you find people with certain characteristics, maybe this is a mental case. But there are some people who can move from one place to another. And there are some people who can have these things, but there's how can I say it? There's a trigger.
There's a mild to it. It's not fully.
Exactly. But even if it's mild, there's something that can trigger. The death of a loved one can make somebody go into depression, and in that depressive state, and they can never come out of it, to a point whereby when they're in that depressive state, even if you try to remove them, even if you try to talk to them, even if you take them for counseling, they start becoming disabled within their environment. They cannot move, they cannot come out of bed, they cannot eat, they just want to stay in one place. So this one creates a specific personality disorder. It begins to bring about either a mood disorder or an anxiety disorder. There's some people because of money. Okay, someone is talking.
Yes, I can see Belinda wants to say something. Belinda, if you can hear me.
Yes, hi. Hi guys.
Hi.
I am really trying to multitask. Ngoja kidogo nitoe hizi vitu. Wow. Oh, sorry. My name is Belinda. So I've been in and out, nimekuwa nikimiss, but I wanted to say something kidogo about what nimesikia tu sahi about most of us might hear one or two common symptoms and then they think that they could be mentally ill. These major conditions like, hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Belinda. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the disorders, there are different types. There are the major ones, but there are those that are quite common. There are mental disorders, but they're like kind of normal. Like, for example, anxiety disorders. So I wanted to mention a bit of that, like anxiety disorder, I'm a panic. Panic is also in paranoia also, but they are disorders. So you might hear one or two symptoms of anxiety disorders. That is like, unaweza ona kakitu kadogo kama ka pimple, alafu it gives you so much stress, ama you find you get angered very easily, ama you are very anxious about something. If you're told about you're going for an interview, you feel your heart is going so fast. At times, there are people who feel like they can't breathe, they take deep breaths and they relax. So the anxiety disorders are very common, and a lot of people don't know they have anxiety disorder. So if you see those symptoms and like for the anxiety disorder, and they're like out of 5 you find like you have like 3, that means you have anxiety, but that doesn't mean that you have a mental disorder. There are people who live normally with anxiety. Anxiety can make someone talk a lot. They can make someone hyperactive, because when maybe they are quite active, they feel like their tension has gone down. Now, the problem with that, it can confuse you to be manic. I had manic being mentioned. A person who has that mania is a hyperactive person. So you see, so it depends. I just wanted to mention about these two disorders like anxiety and panic. They are disorders, mental disorders, but they are normal. They are part of normal life. So hizo hazihitaji mtu kwenda hosi. I just wanted to say that, a bit of that. Just that. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you. So thank you, Belinda. That was very helpful. Now, I wanted to share, you guys know like Shebesh. You know Shebesh?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Shebesh has, she's schizo. You know that? She's schizophrenic. And she takes medication. But you see, with all her multiple personalities. Pardon?
I'm saying I didn't know that.
Yes. She's schizophrenic. She has personality disorder. Okay? But you see, with all that she has, when she takes her medicine, she's doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you have to go to a mental hospital. Do you understand? Because there's a spectrum, as I said, from one place to another. Schizo people can also be bipolar people, because it can go from one place to another. Bipolar is two extreme ends. Schizophrenia can be different personalities. Mtu akona different. I would suggest, okay, I'm not advertising, but if you watch things like Hannibal, you know, those movies whereby the person who does a crime, they have to really think and plan. And then when they talk to you, they change. And then, you know, there are ones that are laughing with you. Then later they have changed their own personality. Look for such. They're quite dark, those movies, but it will make you understand more into a mindset of a person who is schizophrenic. Esther Passaris, she's ADHD. She's hyper. Have you ever been in a meeting with Esther Passaris? Or ever been whereby she's facilitating something? Anybody? Have you ever been with her?
No.
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 Let me tell you, when you're with Esther Passaris, you can go for one topic. I went for a topic which was about, I don't even remember, was it child protection? Something, not even child protection, something totally different. And after 5 minutes, she will take you to a different topic within a blink of an eye. Then the next thing you find you're in another topic. By the time you're done, you're thinking, what happened? But when you go look into her profile, or she talks about, she's a very proud person, and she will tell you, I am ADHD, and because of that, I have been able to achieve so many things. I have been able to do Adopt the Light. I've been able to have my own business. I've been able to stand as a politician. I am also a mother, because now she's all over the place. She cannot sit still. When we are done here, I would like for you guys to go do your research so that you can see if what I'm telling you is a lie or true. But they are proud to tell you that this is what I am. I have this mental condition, but I'm still operating as a normal person. So they have a disability, yet it's invisible. Do you understand? So sometimes they can act out, and you're over there thinking, "Ay, we mama simuelewi. Ay, we cannot understand her." Kumbe, the problem with this is because people who are not visible, we do not have sympathy for them, because we don't even know how to act around them. Even a person who is telling you, I'm depressed, you think it's a game. Yet you don't understand, for a person even to tell you that I'm depressed. I'm not even talking about the fake depression. Oh, as she said, as Belinda said, oh, I have a pimple, I am depressed. Oh, nobody likes me, I am depressed. There are some people, it is so depressing. They're so depressed because they feel like the world is against them. They're rejected. Yes, they can operate normally, but some of them have to actually go to hospital to be given the medication People like Michael Jackson, they died of painkillers. Some of those pills, other than the painkillers that they were having, it was to help them to go to fight against depression. You are the most loved person in the world, but yet you are depressed. Some people say people die because of loneliness. You can be in a crowd, but someone is very lonely because nobody is seeing, as we began, the mask, the face behind what? The mask. Are we together? Sawa sawa?
Yes, we are. Yes.
Now, let me just finish my notes, and then we can continue. So here we are. So what could be the causes of mental disorder or mental health? This is a picture of, let's say, a woman who is carrying the whole world on her head. She has to cook, she has to carry the home, she's doing everything. So all of a sudden her mind will blow because every time she's sitting, she's just thinking of how to do things to a point whereby it becomes too much for her, carrying a lot of loads on her head. This is where we are as the youth. When we sleep, when we wake up, we have to go on social media. Some of us, or some people I know, are not being bullied or they are not being rejected outside their spheres. Some of us or some children are being bullied or cyberbullied. We saw, what was his name, that comedian who said that he's leaving social media. He deleted himself from social media, but got himself back because he was complaining that people are bullying him online. For example, when I look at Bahati and that Bahati and the wife, I don't know the wife's name. Every time you look at her, at their, whatever they are streaming, there's always someone who is making fun of them, bullying them. If someone is not strong, they can lose it. They can go crazy. Because right now, especially during this Corona or Rona thing, period or era, we are not talking to people one-on-one. We are trying to be, how do you say, be given an applause within the social media. If I post a video and nobody is saying that I look good or I'm doing well, I start becoming how do I say it? Disturbed. I start going crazy. Why don't people say that I look good? Why isn't anybody liking my page? In fact, this has become so bad to a point whereby Instagram is thinking about removing the like button. Because some people are going crazy. How come nobody is liking my work, what I'm doing? Men, a lot of men go through abuse, but they cannot talk about it. In the picture, it says, just because I am male doesn't mean she can't hurt me. I am human too, but no one believes me. Can you imagine the emotional turmoil this person is going through mentally that can lead to all those personality disorders or the disorders that I've listed down? The anxiety that they are going through. Nobody is seeing them. They go to the police station, mwingine anamwambia kwani wewe si mwanaume? Haujui kupambana? What is your problem? Why are you crying like a woman? You don't even know the pain that they are going through at home. Some not even domestic violence. Some of us are crying because now we are losing our jobs. Some people have pretended to be something that they are not. So they are trapped within their own bodies. So they are crying out for someone to help them, to rescue them. So mentally, you see them, but they are trapped within their own lies. How do they come out? So this one is actually becoming a very big issue mentally. As I said before, when we were talking about Shisha, the one which threw me on the ground for 3 days, and I thought I was an angel or something. I was flying for 3 days. But some people are overdoing it because even the Shisha that people are taking here, it's not the real thing. So it is drugs. So now, drug abuse. Drug abuse can lead to a lot of mental challenges. If you're taking marijuana, for example, which is weed, which is cannabis, and maybe it has been laced with heroin, and you're watching something, you start seeing things, you start having what is that word? Paranoia. You start screaming, you start saying, oh, the TV, they're pulling the TV. If you're watching an animal channel, oh, the lion is coming out of the TV, it's about to attack me. Oh, the gazelle is chasing me. Oh my God, oh man, I can touch the clouds. You start assuming a character that is not you. You start thinking you're Superman or Spider-Man, and you start jumping out of buildings, you know? Sometimes I wished he would punch me so I would have something to show people. Sometimes an abuse might not even be the bruises. It's how somebody has misused you emotionally. Like we are talking about the narcissist person. He might not beat you. He might not pinch you. He might not bite you. But sometimes the words that are coming out from his mouth, the verbal abuse that is coming out from the person's mouth is hurting that person emotionally, which at the same time is impacting negatively on someone's mindset. Okay? Poverty can lead to a lot of mental illness, which can lead to a disability. Because if you're mentally ill, most likely you'll end up becoming somebody who cannot work within a protected environment. Okay? So, from the beginning, when I was asking about what do you think is disability, we were talking about the various kinds, the physical, the sensory ones, whereby we have the hearing and everything else. I want you guys to put in your minds that disability does not discriminate. It can happen at any time. And this disability can also lead to a mental challenge. Example one, we all know about DJ Evolve, who was in the B club. He was doing his job, he was hustling, doing his thing. And then here comes somebody with a gun and he does what? Shoots him. Now he's in the hospital. I read so far, he cannot move his lower part of his legs, but the rest is working. Even if he comes out of this, as we say in other words, normal, what do you think has happened to him mentally? Post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic trauma is within him. Everywhere he goes, he will just be jumping and looking all over the place because now his mind has already been shattered. He has to go through counseling, he has to go through help, psychosocial support for him to just come back to what we call as normal. Police brutality and attacks from robbers, as I said before, it can also lead to post-traumatic stress, anxiety, mood swings. Domestic violence is on the rise during this curfew. What do you think is happening to people's mindsets at this moment? Some are being destroyed. And always remember, within domestic violence, other types of abuses are happening. Child abuse is happening. Because if a child sees two parents are fighting, there's trauma on this child. Because what is coming out of it? What is created out of it? Sometimes even children have been abused to a level whereby they are just being insulted. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do this. Some of them are told you have to be this way, you have to be this way, you have to be this way. So that what happens, it becomes a song in someone's head and they become obsessive, that they have to do a certain thing in a particular way for them to be loved. I have to be this person for me to be loved, for me to be accepted. So they become obsessed with a certain technique or system. Terror attacks that can lead to physical disability or sensory or even mental. As I said before, I also work at the Teacher Service Commission. The 98 bombing happened and at that bank in town. In that building, majority of the people I still work with were part of the terror attack. One lady in particular, the bombing came, it blew up. She ended up losing her eyesight, and at the same time, she was pregnant. So she ended up giving birth. She never saw the face of her child. She doesn't even know how her child looks like. Her child is now, she has finished university. Now she's working, the daughter. But at the same time, during that period to till now, if you bang the doors, you will find that she will start anastuka. You can't speak loudly. A tire cannot burst. You know, as Benito was talking about the panic, the fear, the anxiety. Sometimes she can even be so disabled to a point whereby she cannot even come to work because on that day, her mind is telling her that if I go to work, I'll be attacked. And then finally, sickness or even accidents can lead to disability. So we do not even need to be born disabled. Anything can happen to us. So when we are talking about this, even if you're trying to think of people, also have in mind that certain things can happen to you that can bring about disability in your place. There is DJ Evolve. As handsome as he is. Chronic illnesses that can lead to mental challenges, heart disease, you can have a stroke. Mentally, you stop thinking well. You can have cancer. You can have chronic lung disease, the ones who are smoking, doing everything. You can have it, which can affect you in the long run. Alzheimer's disease, which my grandmother had, which is dementia. She would forget. 1 minute she's here, the next thing she'd forget she was talking about what she was doing. We'll find her screaming or saying, oh, I told you, or she forgets her keys. She even forgets her home. She even forgets her own children. A person who was strong, she was doing everything. Diabetes, you become a slave to your medicine. You cannot work, you cannot move, you cannot do anything without it. And even the thought of it not being there, you start getting worried. Especially during this corona period. You're told that the people who can get or who can die or can get this coronavirus easily are the people who have underlying diseases. So what do you think when they hear such a thing happens to them? They start getting scared. It starts hurting them like, oh, I cannot go outside because I have a heart disease. Most likely if I get corona, chances for me to survive are nil. So what do you think is happening to them here? Kidney, you can't even go well for your dialysis because you're scared if you walk into a hospital, corona will jump on you. It will just attack you like a spirit. This we saw. Some people were falling all over each other. Some people, even the police are beaten, are also mentally challenged. They don't even understand, as we talked about, they don't even understand what you're trying to tell them because they don't even have any type of communication. They don't even know what the government wants from them. Are we okay till there?
Yes.
You okay?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Any questions so far?
I'm just thinking before we go to the questions, we could invite Julius to share some of the challenges because he's someone with lived experiences with disabilities, maybe some of the mental health challenges he has gone through or maybe he has experienced, then the others can now ask their questions.
Okay, but let me finish so that when Julius comes, I don't interfere with him. Let me just finish because I have like 2 slides and then that is it. Then he can add on. Is that okay? Please allow me because you know what I have here. Please.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody? Naomba. Thanks. And I saw someone asking that poverty cannot lead. It depends. When I'm talking about poverty, I'm not talking about the ones who are living within poverty. Okay? We are talking about people who had money. Okay? Let's say, for example, I like using live examples. For example, you see like K24, people got fired. Okay? Now, when you look at somebody like, I like looking at things, but if you look at one of the people who I'm finding that he might be going through a mental challenge at the moment, I'm not saying that he's mentally challenged, is Ken Mujunga or Ken something. I'm on the phone. So someone like that, when you go through his page, you will find that he's sending some messages about what he has been done to him, how it has hurt him. So you can imagine what is happening to him mentally. Do you understand? I'm not talking about living in poverty, but when you had a comfort zone, then all of a sudden it goes. There is no net. What happens to you? Your children are used to eating pizza. What happens now? You are telling them there's no pizza. No pizza for you. So imagine, then all of a sudden you are living in a house whereby you have rooms. Then all of a sudden you have to go live in a 1-bedroom home or a room. and you're not used to that.
Want pizza.
Number one, the social
Want
status.
pizza.
Go tell someone to give you pizza. Go tell Buka. Go and tell him. So things change. Now, as you can hear, my 3-year-old is asking for pizza and you cannot afford it. What happens to you mentally? I want pizza, I want pizza. What do? You start thinking, oh my God, I used to be able to, but now I cannot. You see what happens? That's what I mean by poverty. Sawa sawa. So finishing, so that I can let Julius. Julius, I'm sorry, but let me just finish.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. So other causes of mental disorders are mental health.
Want pizza.
Okay, I'll make for you. Rapid social changes, development, and globalization. There's hereditary genetic linkages. There are some people who have a sickness like schizophrenia, which can be passed from one family member to another. Urban migration, moving from one place to another. Social isolation, unemployment, which I've talked about, and poverty. Pressure, competitiveness, peer pressure, whereby there's bullying, individual and family crisis, breakdown in traditional values, which can also lead to different aspiration, values, and goals within families and between parents and children. So what are the challenges, which I think Julius will take us through? I'll just touch on top and then he can continue from there. Attitudes. When people think negatively about persons with mental illness, there's so much stigma, so much stereotype. And as I said before, people should understand that disability can happen to anybody. We are in a society whereby we think mental illness is somebody did something wrong, it's a family curse, you should be prayed over, stuff like that. Communication, whether a person with mental illness can share their information, ideas, and feelings, a lot of times nobody listens to them. Nobody even wants to hear their opinions because nani atasikia mtu mwenda wazimu? Huyu mtu hata hana akili, anaweza kuwa anakuambia nini? Then there is a lot of sexual and physical abuse they are facing. Someone who is mentally incapacitated is the most vulnerable and highly likely to face myriads of abuses. They'll be beaten at the market when they are trying to eat. Their clothes will be torn. For me, for example, I've traveled all over Kenya. There are some places I've gone to whereby the people who are considered mad or crazy are the ones who are being raped by rich men to make money in certain parts of the country. Unbelievable, but true. It's not Nigeria, but I have seen and I've heard. Participation, that persons with disability are not able to take part or share in something during this period. For example, the people who, like all of us are being told to wear a mask. We all wear a mask. If I hide my face like this, if I am a person who is disabled, or there's somebody who is disabled, who is trying to read my lips, and they cannot hear, and yet I'm supposed to put on a mask. How are we supposed to communicate? Can someone come up with an idea amongst the youth whereby we have transparent masks that can work? Negative words. So in conclusion, what are we supposed to do? We have to change our negative words to positive words. I won't go through this. I think I can share it with the host. She can share it with you. Things not to say to someone with a mental illness. When you meet them, you say you should just pray. Ukiomba hizo mapepo zitaenda. Ukiona mwingine who has bipolar, unasema the problem with you is it is your attitude. Nakwambia, like they were talking about the one who is always scratching the rashes, it's all in your head. Yeah, you tuko kwa kichwa yako. Then another one will say, I think, we are all crazy. You say, Jali, we are all crazy. And then, as we were talking, you say, maybe all of us feel the same way. So don't worry. You say, I'm depressed. All of us are depressed with this corona. Nobody is normal. All of us are depressed, Bwana. Why do you think you're more special than anybody else? Mental illness is not a personal failure. And I've come to the end. And I always say reaching out for help is brave. And with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that very, very nice presentation. Because of time, I'll just move straight to to Julius. I have a few questions here.
Right.
There's this notion that people with disabilities are always referred to as physically people prefer talking to them as people who are physically challenged or still disabled. Which is the correct term? Probably, yes.
First of all, thank you for this, and of course for inviting me. Again, I said my name is Rodrigo. I run a company called J. Rodrigo Entertainment, and basically what I do is mentor talent and try to look out for talent, and that's what I do. So if you've heard of Miss World Africa, no wait, Miss Africa, yes, Miss Universities Africa. That's one of my students, and a couple of other more that the time. But yes, getting to your question, listen, if you want to refer to, I'm a wheelchair user myself. I've been a wheelchair user ever since I was born. If you want to refer to a person with disability, if you can't mention them by their name, just go and ask. Because I tell you, for me, I have no problem you calling me disabled because I'm not living with it. It's just, it's part of me. You know, living with something, you can always get rid of it any day, anytime. But, you know, you can't get rid of my disability. It's there, it's staying, it's not going anywhere. So when people call me person living with disability, no, I'm not living with disability. It's just part of me. It's who I am. So if you cannot call me by my name and you are wondering what to, you know, call me in reference to me, come and ask me my name. I'll tell you my name. Does that answer the question? So the best,
Yes, it
anyway,
does.
the best name to call someone with disability is by their name.
Okay, that is well noted. And so what are some of the challenges as a person you've experienced with your disability?
First of all, I'm a media personality. Basically, I'm a journalist by profession and a filmmaker as well. So you best believe I've gone to every part of Kenya and I've seen. But the most challenging thing for me would be, number one would not even be infrastructure. Number one would be, I think, what Zipporah said about the mentality of people as regards to people with disability, and that's my typical. It's just something that I don't condone, I don't enjoy, but it's here. And so whenever I have the chance, I teach what to do, I teach people what to do. But in the event they don't want to learn, there are some people who don't want to learn, they just want to remain as they were. And so in that instance, you just leave them alone. So one of the challenges I've faced is that the attitude of people. I can tell you the number of times I've gotten jobs, some of them national jobs, but then the minute they discover I have a disability, it becomes a whole discussion. Just recently, I was talking to a gubernatorial sitting on a WhatsApp group. Tuko WhatsApp group ni wasema officials wa county flani, including the governor's wife was in the WhatsApp group. And I was discussing with them the idea of, let's think about it. Let's imagine one day the governor becomes disabled. What would be there? As in, how would you take it? Are hospitals ready? Are people ready? Is this attitude going to change? And things like that. So yeah, challenge mostly is the attitude of people, which is what I say. I tell people every time. Don't be negative. Like I said, if you can't refer to me by my name, come and ask me. It makes things easier, If you want to talk to someone who is, hearing impaired, talk. Because if you don't know sign language, use a pen and paper. We did this exercise in IEBC, and we were talking to them about the idea of having a sign language interpreter for vote process. And we're proud that, so it's not necessarily a change per se. Can everyone see me? It looks like sionekani naonekana.
Nakuona.
Yes, you're seeing you.
Good. Yes. Right. So that's the. Nimepotea. Can you see me now?
We can see you. Yeah, I can see you.
Right. Yes, good. So that's part of the biggest challenge that I faced so far as regards to, people's attitudes and, people not being able to adapt to the fact that disability is here and it's really not going anywhere. And like Zipporah said, can happen to anyone, any day, anytime. In that WhatsApp group, I was joking with them and I was telling the first lady and the other officials, hata afadhali mimi niko nayo, I already know I have it, so it has already happened to me. You, on the other hand, still have days going on, so are you? I'd be careful. Yeah. Anyway, I kid, but I'm guessing you get the point.
Yes, I do. And maybe any other challenges you think persons with disabilities are facing?
The other challenge, apart from people's attitude, is of course the biggest challenge for any disability, even people who have hearing impairment, is infrastructure. Infrastructure here means kuna mahali tumeitwa job, kuna stairs. I went to State House, tukasumbuana sana because there are places that were not accessible. And I really gave them a piece of my mind because I wanted them to know hii ni mbaya. So yeah, infrastructure is one of the challenges as well. What else? Discrimination, of course. Discrimination is something that it's there and we need to get rid of it. Myths, of course, and stereotyping, that's there. That's also one of the challenges. You go to a place, you're very educated. Can I give an example? I once went into an international company, applied for a job, was very qualified. In fact, I was overqualified for that job. But then they interviewed me very well on LinkedIn. We talked so much with them, and so the final part of the interview was supposed to be the interview, or, face-to-face interview. But the moment they saw that I had a disability, when I went, they finally saw I have a wheelchair. In my CV, I don't mention I have a wheelchair because it's not relevant. Yeah. So when I went, they discovered I have a wheelchair, and it became problematic. And they debated, and finally I didn't actually get that job. Not because I wasn't qualified, but because he's got a wheelchair. We can't let someone with a wheelchair take this job. Yeah. So I guess that's the listing of the challenges that we face on a daily basis. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe
I talk too fast, so if I'm talking too fast, niambie.
I think everyone can hear you. You're audible enough.
Right.
So what are other challenges, the mental health challenges that you can share with us?
That I can identify. Of course, going through all of this, the things that I've listed, it's bound to get to you eventually. Being depressed is also one of them. Being feeling like you're isolated, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like you don't deserve to be here. Those are things that are bound to get to you. Being able to even disorder.
Mm-hmm.
That's people with disabilities are more.
Unapotea kidogo. Kindly, I think there's a network issue. Kindly rewind what you've just
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying that part of mental disability, part of the mental things that can affect people with disability is we are prone to almost every one of them, like every normal human being. But I think we are more susceptible because can you imagine being born in a country or in a continent that believes you're a curse from the very beginning? You cannot. You cannot. If you don't have the right support system, you will not survive. And part of the reason why you see people with disabilities not being able to be active is not that they can't be, it's just that it becomes difficult for them to function. Because you can tax exempt me, for example, all you want, but if you don't give me the job to enjoy the tax exemption, then the job becomes useless. You get? So if I can't go to a job and get employed because I have a disability, that will most definitely have me getting a mental issue per se, because I'll come back to the house eventually. Uki reject you enough times, it becomes part of you, you know. So that is also one thing that affects people with disabilities a lot. Borderline disorder can also be part of us, because at some point, you know, when you've been at borderline disorder or bipolar comes sometimes also when you have been attacked so many times that your mind sets itself in such a way that it wants to develop another character within yourself so that it can protect you. Yeah. So you've been rejected enough times, up so until the point that now you feel, I can't do this by myself. And so you shut down. But because your brain can't shut down, it invents someone else in your head who's supposed to be protecting you. That's why you'll always hear the notion of, you know, walemavu ni wajeuri, walemavu, they are rude, and things like that. Yes.
I just wanted to share something, and maybe you can concur with it or not. There was an article that was written sometime back in April last year on Standard. Like, it's only in Kenya where both government and private sector demand for a driving license, even when they know blind and deaf-blind persons will never drive on the Kenyan road. Only in Kenya where we pay for the long and dreary processes of acquiring the disabled card, where the national identity card is readily available and it's free.
That's right.
It's only in Kenya where government it's only in Kenya where government service providers ask someone to explain his or her disability before service is offered.
Right.
Or denied. I wonder if other non-disabled citizens undergo this trauma. It's
Actually,
also only in Kenya where
you should add the other one that I said. It's only you should add the other one that I said. It's only in Kenya where as a disabled person you're taxed and then they deny you the job to enjoy the tax exemption.
Yes, there's also another one where it's only in Kenya where invisibly disabled persons are not recognized and lots of explanations is done. Only in Kenya where persons with disabilities have to organize themselves to educate service providers of their roles and responsibilities in service delivery to
Imagine that.
persons.
Imagine that. Rodrigo has to go all the way to NTV to educate NTV about how, hey, guess what? You don't have to have stairs. You can actually have this and it will work. Sorry, continue.
Only in Kenya where most government offices are either inaccessible or located in inaccessible places. Only in Kenya where most government websites are in inaccess formats in the documentation, especially I think for the blind. Only in Kenya where most public and private sectors adverts are written, persons with disabilities are encouraged to apply, but they don't take any extra measure to ensure disabled persons are brought on board. Only in Kenya where disabled persons pay for the disabled car sticker for parking, even when the disabled parking is already occupied by the non-disabled individuals. And lastly, it's only in Kenya where disabled artists, musicians, sports persons beg for government or private sector sponsorship to participate in local and international events and obligations. Yeah. So I am sure you can relate to that. I think it's true. Do you think so?
Well, yes, it's actually very true. It's very true. Most of it is very true. And this is not because, and this is why I sit down and tell people, I've been in groups where I've been engaged in forums such like this. And when they hear that I'm a person who can actually be able to adequately articulate themselves, we're branded as, sasa huyu amekuwa mu-emotional, unajua, meanza kuvent. Yeah, it's most of it is true. 99% of it is 100% true, you know? Yeah.
Okay. So before you guys give us like what you think is the way forward, any questions from the participants to the guests? Anyone with a question?
Can I add something?
Sure.
Okay, sure you can.
Can I, Zipporah?
Yes, you can.
Okay, as I said before, other than the organization I work for, I'm also in charge of disability nationally for teachers in Kenya. So those are the things that we've been working on, and we have been doing such a it has been really stressful for me to make people aware that persons with disability are people who actually need support also, because we would put down an advertisement for a job, and the person with disability will go to the school and apply. They will get everything correct, but the teacher will start, the head teacher or the board will say, oh, by the way, we really needed someone who can also do PE, physical education. Yet the advertisement was for chemistry, you know? We have teachers who will go to a place whereby, and people will look at them and say, if we bring you into our company or on our school, we'll have to spend so much money because we need to create a place for you to fit in. You get? So to a point whereby we had a problem whereby about 35 persons with disability living with PLWDs, persons living with disability, came to the commission at the headquarters, and they called me for a meeting. Me, myself, they didn't call anybody else, they didn't go to anyone else, they just called for a meeting. So I had to have a meeting with them one-on-one for me to understand the problem that is happening on the ground. Because yes, we have written persons with disability are encouraged, highly encouraged to apply. There's a position for you. So what is your problem? Me, I know here at the headquarters, uko chini kwa mashinani, you can apply and there is a job for you. And they come and they tell me, Zipporah, this is not happening, this is not going on. When they are bringing out the marking scheme, there's always a problem whereby they ask you, how many years have you been out of service before? Maybe me, I graduated in 2015, and someone else who graduated in 2012 gets the job before me. Yet, me being a person with disability, it took me a longer period of time before I graduated, because for me to do my work, it takes much, much longer. So, and then in the school that they want, or if they get the school that they're supposed to go to does not even have facilities to help them, like the toilet. Let's say the way you said, Julius, you're a person on a wheelchair. How do they expect you to use the washrooms? Yet, when you look at them, they're so small. They are so small, and they don't understand that part. So what I can say about the commission, we came up with a guideline for persons with disability. We have made sure that at the headquarters, it's us who give them the opportunity to work, as opposed to them having to go to the county level. We have made sure that each and every county that we are in, there has to be, not even a county, every zone, there has to be at least 2 to 3 people who have a disability. It is not good for us to differentiate between the person who is normal and the person who is disabled, but we have to do this in order for the society and the community to accept that people with disability are people who can actually contribute to the community. For me, as you can see from my name, I'm part Maasai. And I always ask people when I go for a meeting, have you ever seen a Maasai who is disabled or physically challenged, who is my age, who has not had an accident? Have you seen? Most of them tell you no. Why? Because when you are born physically challenged, they kill you. They kill you automatically because you will do nothing for them. They will kill you, they'll step on you, they'll put you in a place whereby there are cows, they will step all over you. They will even leave you in that manyata and they go so that you can die with the nature. But now if we have people with disability who are actually working and making money and they are taking care of themselves and the community can see this, this one will remove the discriminative nature of the people. So for me, I see the challenges you have, but the thing that is making Julius a little bit better is mentally, you've accepted it because it's from birth. Is that true? Now imagine a person who gets a disability now.
Let me actually give an example of that. I've had Zipporah give a lot of examples with the people who have disabilities. I want to draw your attention. Who remembers Louis Otieno? Luis Otieno. He used to be on NTV, then moved from NTV and went to Citizen. I don't think, does this generation know who Luis Otieno is? You're a very good presenter.
Yes, yes.
I know
Yeah,
him.
we
Very
do.
good.
Yeah.
Namjua
Yeah,
huyo.
so,
Yeah.
yes,
My
exactly. So Louis Otieno now has a disability. He cannot hear, and now I think he cannot speak again. So we had to take him in, and we had to teach him everything about disability. We had to teach him all the, sasa aweze sikia, and communicating has become a problem. Maybe also to highlight someone else that I think Zipporah wanted you guys to know about, dyslexia. If you guys know the billionaire philanthropist anaitwa Richard Branson, he's also he's a billionaire and he's a philanthropist, but he's dyslexic. This guy who owns Disney, it's called Walt, is rumored to have had dyslexia as well.
And autism.
And autism, yes. So she's right when she says, especially people who get disability along through as they go, it's much more difficult to them, which is why we keep insisting, I keep insisting myself, it's important for you to make avenues so that in the event you become a disabled person, because it's so easy, you are making it so that you are also prepared in the event it happens, there are ways you can cope with it. Because if you don't have ways to cope with it, things can happen. And it doesn't have to necessarily be you. It could be your relative, it could be your kids, it could be your husband, your wife, So rather than wait for it to happen to you or to someone that you know, prepare so that in the event it happens, you have things settled, you have things ready. Yeah. And that makes a world of difference. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for my mother, who sat me down and told me, my friend, guess what? This thing, you're not changing it. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. She started leaving me to go to school by the age of 4. Why? Because she wanted me to know, whether you like it or not, you need to prepare yourself for the worst, because the world is wicked like that. Yeah. So even as you prepare, even as you're listening, listen with the knowledge of knowing. I want to know, like I did a petition to Kenyatta University when I was there. Kenyatta University is my alma mater. I wanted sign language to become a common unit, so that the way people study about HIV/AIDS, they would study about sign language. Because you can imagine, if Kenyatta University admits 30,000 people, imagine if 30,000 people over 4 years knew sign language. Kenya ingekuwa wapi sahi? We'll be very far. But now, because like Zipporah said, we don't want to adapt into these things, you just think that ni Rodrigo inafo, he might as well atajipanga akiendanga. You'll be surprised, Yeah, so
Let me say something.
tujipange.
Let me
I
say
can
something
see.
just a
Right.
little bit.
Okay.
Right now with the CBC that is coming, one of the major languages that they are teaching children is sign language. It has been put
Right.
there.
Awesome.
That's going to be
That's
great.
good. That's good.
So my crazy
Yeah.
son here, who is driving me insane, will be at least there with the sign language, because I don't know, they'll be using it against me as a code, with the others. But yes, that is something that has been brought about. One thing about Kenya, even if we speak as much as we can, it just needs an individual to make them more aware. What we are missing out on, especially the challenges, is to make someone understand what is happening. For example, when I was talking about the masks, how do you expect a person who is deaf to understand you? Because you cannot do sign language, they actually lip read you. Why can't we just have one that is, we can see through, so that you can see my conversation? Another thing is, let me just use my other background, is when the teachers came for them to be put in a school, all of them asked to be put in a special school. Because mentally, as you're talking about the mental thing, is they do not want to be with the normal people. They will tell you, nipeleke kwa shule nikuwe na watu wetu. Siezani na watu wako kawaida, hawani understand. Do you get it? So those are some of the mental things. So mentally, in their head, they think they'll be safe in Thika School for the Blind or somewhere in Kwale, but they don't. So they have limited themselves to a point whereby they cannot even see themselves operating normally. So let me go back now, because you're talking about, now me, I'm talking about the future as opposed to what is happening now. Other than the sign language that is being brought down to the CBC curriculum, because we have noticed that it's affecting people mentally. And I always advise the youth, if you want to be smart, go learn sign language, because that is now going to be the key for you to be anywhere. Even right now, as we are in this curfew, I don't know what we are called. I don't even know this corona thing. Eh? Majority of the teachers now, we are offering them free sign language classes. So one thing that is happening in education, let me explain to you, is that other than the sign language classes that are coming, we are also making sure that, can you imagine it has left my head? Amanda. I think I'm having a mental problem. It has disappeared. Shauri yenu sasa. I was going to give you a leakage.
But you're right. You see, let me give another example, to everyone here. Let me give you the difference between a working system and a non-working system. I'll give you an example. If you've heard of a program called Able Different on KBC, that's one of the programs I started way back in 2010. And when I began that program, the whole idea behind the program was to be able to, first of all, highlight and just make it possible for people to understand and know what disability is all about. I recently went to BBC East Africa, and those guys, they didn't even invite me for, we were to talk about something else. But when I came, they were so happy that I was there, such that they used my wheelchair to measure themselves in terms of disability friendliness and awareness. So what we were doing in BBC was there, we were in every room just to see, wheelchair inaza toshea hapa. All right, imetoshea. Okay, so let's go to the kitchen. Can you be able to make yourself something? Yes. Good. Umejitengenezea. That's okay. Aya, tusonge twende kwa media house. Let's see. Can you fit on this stage? Can the wheelchair still? Because they want you to do your news anchoring still on that wheelchair, So I was so excited. I thought, these guys are doing such an amazing job. And I immediately called, some fellows in these other local stations, and I told them, hey, kuja muone watu wameamua huku. People are doing amazing things. Nyie mmelalia tu masikio. And the lash I got from them also, mpaka nilisema, okay, ni sawa. So basically, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, this change cannot be made by the government. This change cannot be made by NGOs. This change can only be made by yourself. If you decide, I'm not going to discriminate against Rodrigo because regardless of whether he is a PWD, a PLWD, whether, tumetoka mbali from crippled, we now become handicapped, then we went to physically disabled, and then we've come to physically challenged. Na wakati nilisikia we were called persons with nini. Listen, all those things, they are good because they make you feel like you're politically correct when you're calling me those names. But in the end, know my name. It's good. Call me by my name, I'll respond. Tukifika, by the way, there's something, there's a culture people with sign language have. Once you become a friend to them, they give you a sign name so that you no longer have to use your name in front of them. And once they give you a sign name, it's a way of them showing you, imagine tumekukubali. When you get to people who have wheelchairs, once you've become my friend, tuna make jokes about my disability all the time. Ask Raymond, he's here, he will tell you. Vitu zenye tuna joking na Raymond, because he's the kind of guy who doesn't recognize my disability unless I make it recognizable to him. Tutaenda mahali, tuko kwa club, tunasherehekea. Mind you, I am the king of karaoke in Kenya, so I go to clubs very nicely and I enjoy myself. So yeah, it's your choice. You have to make the choice and say, I want to make the change. I want to be the change. Right. Nilikuwa nangoja ukumbuke. Umekumbuka?
Yeah. Oh, Collins, I can see you want to say something.
Yes, Collins, karibu.
I wanted to share something too in the next 2 minutes.
Right.
About
Okay.
the COVID-19 right now.
Right.
I know it can be very hard for disabled people to take prudent steps to protect themselves from the coronavirus outbreak. The experts, hawa wanajitanga ma experts, wanatu advise sana that we need to prepare for an outbreak And that is very logic. It makes logical sense and should be followed as much as possible. Hadi ama polisi wanaambiwa mtu watu wako kwa nyumba. Mwingine anasema we don't treat it normally, sijui treat us abnormal, it has become like a proverb. But many people and clinically people's past experiences with medical bureaucracy, even in our country, and obtaining responsive or flexible assistance makes this thing become skeptical. That will be able to follow all of the recommended advice successfully. For one thing, some disabled people can't isolate themselves as thoroughly as other people because they need regular hands-on help from other people to do their everyday self-care tasks. Also, laying easy supplies, easy zinapeana groceries can even be difficult for some of the disabled people to do. When shopping of any kind is always extra tasking, and they rely on other people's transportation. Transportation becomes now the biggest thing because they have to rely on other people's transportation. For some of us, even cleaning, even cleaning our homes and washing our hands frequently can be extra difficult due to some physical impairments, probably, and environmental barriers or interrupted service. How does even the government think people with disability will manage these things? I think hapo ndio mali hawakufikiria na they never talk about it. The entire thing, they just say you have to behave, I don't know how you have to do these things, but they have not put this into consideration. So I think one major thing that is affecting people with disability is the fact that the rules that were laid down to curb this virus actually kuna vile hawawezi fanya, inawalemea, and they will end up even becoming more and more depressed. Thank you.
Let me tell you something, Collins. If all of us students said, you know what, I'm going to help Rodrigo, not because he's disabled, but because he's my friend or is an acquaintance that I met. If we all combined with that, imagine it wouldn't make any difference as far as and you're right, the government has a lot of, responsibilities here to take. Like the host said, the National Council Disability Card is harder to pick than the actual national card. And when you go there, they tell you, so we don't believe you're disabled, so you go to a doctor, let him prove to us that you're disabled, and then we'll give you the card. And then when you finally get the card, you actually get nothing out of it, in all honesty. Why am I saying this? Because I feel, why has someone like Raymond invited me here? Because he knows and he believes having the perspective of someone with a disability is really important. I'm happy because I know even by being here, I've already, is it cancelled or subsidize the anticipation, the stereotypes and the myths that people have, here had of people with disabilities. And we need forums like this all the more, so that one time we can be able to talk just normally and engage each other and get to know. Yeah.
I totally agree. So as we finish, I want us to be done in like the next 6 minutes.
Right,
maybe cool. Zipporah, you can share
Zipporah
something.
has left.
Oh, she's still
I think
here.
she's left. Oh yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, she's still here. What can we now do to help us stroke assist persons with disabilities attain good mental health? As a parting shot, as we finish. Zipporah, if you can hear me, or Rodrigo.
Just repeat.
Okay. Like what can we do to help or assist persons with disabilities attain a good mental health?
Okay. Accessibility, remove stereotype, change the way we talk about them, having our mindset that disability is not inability, they are just able differently. Another thing that is important is always keep in mind that disability does not discriminate. It does not discriminate. Now, for you to support a person, for you to support a person who has disability so they can have good mental health, it's just what I've said. speak to them. There's one thing that people don't understand is when you see a person with disability, don't assume that they need your help. Let them ask for that help. It is so sad that here is Julius in his wheelchair. He's doing something and someone comes and starts pushing him from point A to B without even asking him. And if Julius says, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Someone will start saying, people with disability, wako now, they're always angry. They're always bitter. Wanakasirikaga tu. Yet, we are not understanding that they're also like us. You need to respect them. So for mental health per se, other than the other ones which we are talking about, is understand everybody has a system that is working in their heads, that some people are trying to control. But now, if we do not give them good accessibility to do what they're supposed to do, it can affect them mentally. It can affect them from doing what they're supposed to do. Like what I was, okay. I'm actually very tired with this noise that I'm having from my son. So I'm being affected mentally. So you can imagine even a person with disability with a child like this one, I tell you. So please excuse me. Okay.
Okay.
But now, as I was saying, like for us in the government, especially, now let me talk as a government officer. For us in the government, in order for us to work with people, especially with persons with disability, especially people who are mentally challenged, especially with people who are also at the same time, they're living with those disability, but they're affected by what the kind of environment they live within, is first changing the system. So by what I've just explained to you, CBC bringing about sign language as one of the languages, we are changing the system whereby we have special schools. We're no longer going to have special schools. It's going to be inclusive education so that the people with disability can live and work and be at par with other people who are called abled. Because now we're having a challenge whereby we are trying to tell adults that even if you have a disability, you can work very well in this society. So them themselves are also disassociating themselves from the normal society. So we might not be stereotyping them, giving them stigma, but a person with disability who is living with it, who is actually affected mentally by the past and the trauma of being made to feel like they're less than somebody or anybody or a person, are actually refusing to integrate. They're actually refusing to integrate within the normal society. So for me, my parting shot, because I have to go, because I have to go, please allow me, because of it's time for me to sleep. Okay. Always keep in mind that when you meet a person with disability, try to close your eyes and try and imagine that person from the time they wake up in the morning to evening. How are they navigating from one place to another? Imagine the challenges they face. Then on top of it, other than those challenges, they face you with your stereotype, with your stigma. Like when Julius was talking about Louis Otieno, when I was telling somebody, oh my God, Louis Otieno is now facing so much. Someone told me, hey, Naile Mbabaya amefanya, because he deserves it. So now mentally in our heads, we are already assuming a person with disability deserves to be who they are. So let us change our attitude. Let us include them in what we do. Let us try to be in their shoe and empathize with them. But also at the same time, let's treat them as though they are part of us. Do not treat them as though they are not, they're half of a human being. If you want to help them, ask them. Don't just jump around and start helping them. They have not asked you for help. If they want help, they'll ask. They have the mouth to speak. They will show you through situations
right.
that you're just out there helping them. But also at the same time, try to make sure that wherever they are safe and they're secure. Those few remarks, thank you. And thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am really, 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 really humbled. Thank you very much.
Okay, and you also, before you leave, thank you so much for heeding our call. I know I've not met you in person, but through callings, we've been able to interact. I hope we can engage you in our other sessions. So I trust you have to leave, but I'll share the feedback from the others, and I hope you will share your presentation with me so that I can share it with the others too. Okay, so Julius, from your side. And there's also someone who's just commented here and said, people who have the disabilities card don't even know they are what privileges they are entitled to. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's actually true. You could have the card, it will not help you with anything. I've had the card, I'm not lying. I have had the card, it's not helped me with anything thus far. So, and yet we are here. But oh well, such is Kenya, right?
Yes. So as a parting shot, what can we do to help and assist persons with disabilities attain good mental health from your side?
I think the best and the most important thing you can do is drop all your myths, drop all your stereotypes. Don't trust in what you've been brought up to believe. People with disabilities are just as normal people as you can ever find. There's never going to be something abnormal about them. Even if they don't have one hand, even if they don't think clearly, regardless of what is going on, they are still normal people. The best thing you can do for a person with disability is treat them normally. If you, like I said, personally, I don't call me disabled because I proudly. It's just me, but well, you'll find others who think different. But yes, that's something you can do. Do whenever you find me, say hi. Don't and like she said, if you need to help, uliza. Kama tunahitaji tutakwambia. Yeah, and you are invited. Kujeni tufanye shows. Come do. If you hear of events like this, please join up. Listen, get educated, get knowledgeable. Bible says the good book. My people perish because of lack of knowledge. Muskubali kuperish. Learn, my people learn. When I have another show on one of these TV stations, I'll make sure Raymond reaches out to all of you tukutane, tukae chini tufanye a really, really good show. Not on disability, but on everything about life.
There's someone who has a question for you.
Sure, no problem, no problem.
Yangu tu ni story ya media. Uko na YouTube channel? At least naweza kufuata huko nione kazi zako.
Yes, I have a YouTube channel. It's J Rodrigo Entertainment Group. So when you go to the channel, you'll find that there's a lot of youths that I mentor. I've got a lot of singers. You guys have heard of Crystal Asige? That's that lady. Yes, so Crystal Asige is one of the guys that I work for a magazine called Disabilities Africa, so I have interacted with her and we've mentored each other a lot. She never used to be blind. By the way, she's blind. How many of you know by the way that Crystal Asige is blind? No, Crystal Asige is blind. Yes, Crystal Asige is blind. And she wasn't born blind. She became blind at 8 years old. Yeah. And she's worked with Disney. She's worked with Illumination. She's worked with BBC. But when she came to Kenya, imagine alikosa kazi tu. Yeah. So the embarrassment that is, but we are not saying. Anyway, so yes, my YouTube channel is called J Entertainment Group. That's where you'll find me.
Okay. I just want to thank you all so much for those who've stayed till this. It's way past our time. We were to finish at 8:30, but I think the conversation was too interactive that we had to get to 9:35 p.m. So I want to thank you, Zipporah and Rodrigo, for coming for our session. We believe and trust that we can engage you again in future. And I love, like you said,
yes,
we should not refer you as persons with disability. Let us just refer you by your name. And I like that so much.
Yes. Hey, Rodrigo is enough.
Yeah. Okay. And thank you so much to the participants. I shall be sharing a feedback on Google Docs for this session, how it has been, so that we can know what to improve on in our next sessions. Otherwise, thank you, and may you all see you again soon, next week.
See you.
I officially call this meeting to meeting or session to an end. Bye.